Hi, I'm Sue, and I'm the pastor here. And I want to welcome you to our First Presbyterian Church YouTube channel. We are so glad you're taking time to watch some of our content. If this is helpful to you, would you take just a minute and hit that subscribe button right now? We hope these messages are encouraging and uplifting to you. Be sure to stick around after the message, and I'll give you a little bit more info about how you can get involved and be a part of all God is doing here. So one of many people's favorite texts in the Old Testament is Jeremiah 29. Life was not good for the people of God. They were in exile in Babylon, and they get a word of hope from Jeremiah. But that word of hope came because they were getting a lot of false information, fake news, you might say. They were being told that their exile would be very short. Don't get comfortable there, don't get settled, don't make friends, because very soon God is going to come and take you back to Jerusalem. And, well, it didn't work out that way. The prophet Jeremiah heard a different word from God. And so let's hear what Jeremiah told the people. These are the words of the letter that the prophet Jeremiah sent from Jerusalem to the remaining elders among the exiles and to the priests, the prophets, and all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had taken into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. It said, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there. Do not decrease. But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, do not let the prophets and the diviners who are among you deceive you, and do not listen to your dreams that you dream. For it is a lie that they are prophesying to you in my name. I did not send them, says the Lord. For thus says the Lord, only when Babylon's 70 years are completed will I visit you, and I will fulfill my promise and bring you back to this place. For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for your welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with hope. Then when you call upon me and come and pray to me, I will hear you. When you search for me, you will find me. If you seek me with all your heart, I will let you find me, says the Lord. And I will restore your fortunes and gather you from all the nations and all the places where I have driven you, says the Lord. And I will bring you back to the place from which I sent you into exile." This is the word of the Lord still speaking. Thanks be to God. Mother Teresa of Calcutta said, "Yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today." There is great wisdom in that. For yesterday holds no surprises. There's nothing we could do to change the past. We cannot turn back time. We cannot chart a new path from the past. We can't discover new things in the past. We can't even take back hurtful words that we've spoken in the past. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow holds a future that hasn't yet been written, a future that we can only imagine, or maybe can't imagine. Just think, if someone had told you 4 years ago that churches all over the world would have spent a year not meeting in person, would you have believed them? I would not. We don't know what the future holds. We can dream about it. We can envision a day full of hope and joy. Pessimists, of course, will envision a day filled with sadness and grief. And the reality is both will be there. Regardless, the future has not yet been written, which means today is pregnant with possibilities. And when you put next to that the words of a God who says, I know the plans I have for you, plans for your welfare and not for harm, plans to give you a future with hope, well then truly the sky's the limit. We have today, and we can dream about tomorrow. We can imagine what God has planned. But we also recognize that today is the only day we do have, as Mother Teresa said. And so today we trust, we dream, we plant seeds. We trust that tomorrow is in God's hands. We trust in God's promise for a future filled with hope. We dream about a future that will grow from the seeds of hope that are planted today. And we live now in light of that anticipation and hope. So it's all about how we live today. We don't dwell on the past. We do dream about the future. But we live now in light of that future that is promised us and that we hope for. So today, we're going to baptize someone who's beginning a new leg in her journey of faith. Where that journey will take her, we don't know. Time will tell. But right now, the road is wide open before her. Today, two people are going to join this complicated, very human, less than perfect, holy, chosen by God people we call First Presbyterian Church. And by their very uniqueness, they are going to change us by their presence. We will be different tomorrow because they are joining us today. How their passions and how their calling will change us has yet to be seen. Today, we are going to go downstairs for our annual celebration, and we will not long for the past. Rather, we will celebrate it, and we will look to the future, and we will share our dreams and our hopes about what tomorrow might hold, because we believe God's promise that we have a future filled with hope. And today, we're going to plant seeds, because what tomorrow looks like depends a lot on the seeds we plant today. As Mother Teresa said, we only have today. So what seeds are we going to plant? So the question becomes, how will you choose to live today? There are some who will choose to spend this day thinking about yesterday and wishing they could return to it. I will say our church is better than most, but I still hear every once in a while, gosh, do you remember when the sanctuary was packed full and it was standing room only? Honestly, that was before most of us were ever involved in the life of this church. You know, and they look at our country and say, gosh, do you remember when? Well, let me tell you, first of all, one reason it's not helpful spending your day wishing you could be back in the past is because that past was never as good as you remember it being. I can guarantee you, if you thought it was great, it was not great for somebody else. That's why Jeremiah wrote that letter to the people who've been taken into exile in Babylon. They wanted to come home. They wanted to go back to the way it was. They thought this exile was just going to be just a little blip, a little bump in their journey. Soon they'd be back in Jerusalem. All would be as it was before. How quickly they forgot the hunger. Perhaps those who longed for the return, keep in mind that most of those who were taken into exile were what we would call the middle to upper class. The poorest of the poor stayed behind. How quickly those who longed to return to the past, maybe not how quickly, but how much they didn't realize for the poor, the past was not glorious for them. They had to sell their children to rent their tools to put food on the table for the rest of their families. They didn't want to return to the past. So don't spend your days wishing for yesterday. Yesterday is gone. Today is where you are. So look to the future and not the past. Build houses, get married, have children, give your children in marriage, have grandkids. Plant seeds for tomorrow where you are, because that's where God has put you. And then see what God will do with those seeds. That's the challenge before us always. A lot of people are afraid of tomorrow. What if the stock market plummets? What if that recession that they keep talking about on the news comes in full force? What if I lose my job? What if I have a big health problem? When you choose fear over faith, your future shrinks. And everything becomes a threat. And when everything is a threat, you aren't living fully, you aren't living joyfully. You can't embrace new possibilities because hope and fear just simply don't exist well together. Why not instead plant seeds and tend those seeds? Water those seeds. Those seeds cradle the hope for tomorrow. Trust God's promise that there's going to be something wonderful growing from those seeds. So, what do you hope for tomorrow? What would you like to see tomorrow hold for you, for this church, for our country, for our world? In light of that hope, what seeds will you plant today? One of the things we're doing here today is planting seeds. You might notice a basket on the communion table. These are all of the pledges that have been turned in so far for our 2023 budget for the church, part of our stewardship campaign that we are winding up today. We're planting seeds. We're asking you to trust and believe that God has a future filled with hope for us. We're asking you to join the session in planting seeds today that will bear fruit tomorrow. We're asking you to invest in hope through growing our online ministry. When you get the annual report downstairs, I think when I wrote it, about 40% of our worshiping congregation worships online. When it's cold, we've learned that number goes up to about 50%. And we're touching people that we aren't even aware of. The two people who are joining today, thank our online ministry for that. That's how they found us. That's how they got connected with us. So, what seeds are we planting today through that? We're asking you to plant seeds through our giving in this physical plant, this building, the grounds of this church, for its upkeep and its improvements, so it can continue to serve not only our needs, but the needs that come down the road, the needs of our neighbors tomorrow. We're asking you to give so that you plant seeds in our music program and our worship program and our education program, so that those not only feed us now, but send us out into the world tomorrow to be that sign of hope for others. I want to talk a minute about our Christian education program, because a lot of churches bemoan the fact that their kids grow up and leave their home church. But I always remind them, first of all, our kids are part of our church today, but second of all, you're planting seeds in those kids so that when they leave this place, they're going to go find another church somewhere else and be a part of that church and bring all that they are to that church. So some of the seeds we plant aren't necessarily going to bear fruit in our church. They may bear fruit in another church, but that's part of what it means to be the people of God all over the world. But that's what we do here. We plant seeds. And we celebrate the new growth that comes from tending those seeds. But that growth only comes as a result of what we do today. Now, as I said, some of what we do, we will see the growth right away. Other things, it's going to be a long time. But think of your favorite fruit tree. Aren't you glad someone planted that and waited years for the fruit to come so you could enjoy it today? That's what we are doing here. We are actually here because people 1, 2, and 3 generations ago in their todays invested in our future. Or maybe I should say invested in our today. They believed God would take their efforts and grow them beyond their wildest dreams. Now we have the privilege of carrying on that tradition and that hope for our church, for the world in which we live, by taking our todays and investing in the hope of tomorrow. As Mother Teresa said, yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. Let us begin. Thank you for listening to today's message. At First Presbyterian Church, we believe we aren't meant to do life alone. We were made to do life with others. If you're looking for a community of people who will meet you and welcome you and love you and accept you just as you are, then click the link below in the description and head over to our website, fpclincoln.org, to find out how you can join one of our groups or studies and get connected to other people. Or if you just want some information about the church or want to talk to someone, you can fill out a Connect card and someone from our team will reach out to you. The link for that card is also right below this video in the description. Every week, we get to hear stories about people who find God through these messages and whose lives were changed. None of this would be possible without the amazing generosity of the people here at First Presbyterian Church. If you would like to be a part of helping this life-changing message continue to go out online each week, you can make a donation. You can click on the link below in the description, or just click the Give tab on our website. Thank you for your generosity, and thank you for being a part of changing lives. And thank you for watching our video today. Be sure to look around our YouTube channel and check out the other messages to help you on your journey. And again, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll get notified every time we put out a new video. We love you, and we hope you have a great day.